Oh man, and every once in a while, Andy's gonna lean forward and he's gonna go invisible because he's the see there he went, invisible gardener again. You know, trying to teach with about biology to all these rich people in Malibu. And Andy, you love to work with the trees, but something that you really are trying to push with the people that you're interacting with is soil testing and the analysis of their soils so that you can bring life back into the soil to give them healthy plants. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Look, I started doing this stuff a long time ago, and I'm just a gardener. So I look at things, or I disappeared again. I can't help it. I don't know what happened.
Oh, psych!
All right, people, quit making me disappear like that. Come on, it's kind of scary. Next thing you know, I'm not talking. Maybe my mouth would be moving. Anyway, I've been doing the landscaping. I started landscaping. I didn't like doing it because they say give me the lowest bid, and I always do the highest bid. Hi, diggity. And so I said, just give me your credit card, go away. That would be my.
Hey, can I find some of those people? Because I love it. Yeah, just give me your credit card, take off.
One guy did. He says, here's the card. I'll be back in 4 months. And this is the maximum, unless you really think something else, and let me know. But anyway, I'm really a good gardener. When you look at something, a good gardener will look at a tree or something and go, well, I don't think that's right.
Anybody that wants to go to your website and go through it and look at the beautiful gardens that you work in, yes, you're a class and a level that's extreme, beautiful.
So, I have all kinds of issues because it's like teaching kids. Now, you're not supposed to eat this. No, you don't need to stick that there. No, you don't do this. You turn around and say, now you're doing it. What are you doing that for? No, you don't. So it's kind of like that. And I hate to say that about my customers but people have no idea what they're doing. And they just go around all over the place. And then it's like no concept of why things are not doing well in the first place. Oh, let's water more. And the gardeners are just as bad. Oh, it's really hot. Let's water more. And this is disease. You're surprised how many people call me up. This tree has a disease. I want you to spray it. I'm going, well, it doesn't really. I talk like Eeyore sometimes. Well, it doesn't really work that way. You know what I'm saying? What I have to do is I have to try to slow down because these people are like super fast. I can go as fast as they want to, but they're not listening. So when I slow down,
they're not understanding. There is a difference between not listening and not understanding.
Well, maybe it's a combination of both because they listen and nothing comes through it. There's nothing they don't understand, right? So if you listen and you understand, that's cool. So one of the things I've learned early in my career was to do something outside of myself so they can say, see, it's not Andy. Here's something that we can look at. That's why I like a refractometer because besides me, if I say this has a high mineral content and a refractometer says the same thing, you're going to go, okay. And it's the same thing with soil testing. So I do for my customers when I first see them. I said one of the first things I tell them is we're going to have to do some soil testing.
Yeah.
When I started doing this, I said, look, you can spend $200-$300 for soil testing, or you just leave it up to me. You don't need to do a soil test. We'll do it right. But people don't get that.
They want to see something in black and white from a lab going, okay, this is what's wrong.
Yeah, they want to see, and then every year they want to see it again and go, look. And if you have a chart or a way to show it to them, because education is key. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. Teach these people, look, you had this, and then now you have this, and then you have this, and look at your plants and see what's going on with them, because that's how it works. So right now, these plants are having this problem. As a matter of fact, I'm going there. I was supposed to go yesterday, and I'm maybe going there tomorrow. The lady calls me up and says, I got 3 trees on my whole property. They're not doing really good, and they're going to die. And I want you to come and take care of those trees. I don't want you to look at anything else. I don't want you to do anything. I want those trees. And so, and to me, it's like a person goes to a doctor. I have this finger, and
I only wanted you to look at my toe to figure out what's wrong with my finger.
This finger is rotting or disease or something, but I do not want you to look at my hand or my body or anything else. Just deal with my finger.
Yeah.
Any doctor will say, fine, chop it off, wrap it up. Okay, we're done. But they still have to deal with the body.
Yeah.
Right? And so And a lab test is kind of like when you go to the doctor says we're going to have to do a blood test, right? It's the same thing. You look at the doctor says, like, I'm going to one now. I go to Medicare a lot and all these different doctors because I'm trying to convince them I'm crazy and really, really sick so I get more benefits.
Yeah.
Don't tell
us
you're
anybody. Sick. You're definitely sick. Yeah.
My problem is I get healthier and healthier and healthier rather than sicker and sicker and sicker. And it's not fair that you have to do the drugs in order to get benefits. You know what I mean? Anyway, so a lab test is really, it depends on also too on where you send it to, because a lot of times in the beginning I used to send it off to a lab company and they would send it back. This is your pH. This is the salt content of your soil. We recommend high nitrogen fertilizers. We recommend this. We're all chemicals, right? Blah 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 down the line, and it's like, so I tell people, okay, I'll have this. Oh yeah, I'm from OG. Who said that? Ken, you did? Telling people I'm from South Florida, Ken. I don't know. I'm not from South. I am not wanted by the FBI.
Or else, why is from South Florida? I'm not sure. Like, he's giving me the prayer.
Why?
Thumbs up and OGs. Also, old guy or original grower, depending on how you want to look at it, because we're both pretty old.
He knows I'm from South Florida. I wonder how he knows that, because that's where I originally.
Well, we talked about that, Andy.
Oh,
okay.
You guys actually listen to me when I talk? Holy shit.
Isn't it amazing that there's people in our chat that pay attention?
Oh, dear.
They want to learn.
If any of my 9 wives were to watch this, I would be in deep trouble, man. I really would.
Wow. 9 wives.
Yeah. But I've learned to, I do this, I'm an old South Florida boy. I'm a Key West boy. I love Key West. I love Homestead because it's fruits everywhere. One of the things I love about Florida is the fruit. I was a fruitarian. I went to school in Miami for 1 year, Coral City. There you go. See, maybe I knew you. What year did you go in school at Coral City? Because I grew up in Hialeah, Florida. I went to high school there, and then I was around for a long, long time. I started a club, and I lived in Coconut Grove for a long time. I lived in various different areas around Miami. And then I expanded out. I ended up living in Gainesville, Florida. I wrote a newspaper called New Age Traveler's Guide to Florida. So I went up and down Florida. And I did the same thing. I did Invisible Gardener then too. And in those days, I tell people, save your money. Don't do a soil test. Because, this is what you need to do anyway. You get the soil test, and you're still going to do what I'm going to tell you.
Only if they're going to listen to you will that actually work, Andy. They have to actually listen to you.
But I realized over the years, it's better to have it written down in paper when they can say, no, this, and you can say right there it says, and every year, this is what I've been telling you, because if you write it down on paper, they cannot deny you said that.
Yeah.
You cannot deny, and then on top of that, you can prove it, because I've gone through so many different, like this lady's calling me up, her trees or citrus are dying. Well, I can tell you why they're dying before I even go anywhere near the place. Okay, that's what what's going on with nowadays with people's properties, especially here. Think of it. Here in California, we're going through a drought, right? So in a drought, we have this very, very bad. I wouldn't call it soil, but it's something that your plants are growing in, right? In California, it gets really super baked, really super hot. Yes, basically it's clay soil, right? It's made out of clay. I've been collecting tree debris before I can remember mulching the yard. I grew up near the Fort Lauderdale Airport. I love the Fort Lauderdale Airport, man. I would sit down there just before they take off. I used to have a couple of girlfriends at one time in the car, smoking, enjoying life. No. And they go boom like that, right over, shake the car.
Yeah, I know. I used to do the same thing. Okay,
I'm the same way,
man. It's fun with the kids, and they go, "Wow!"
I think it should be against the law to take anything out of your property. When the leaves fall to the ground, it belongs to the ground rather than taken out. And so, and then one of the things that I like to do is to prove to people, especially professionals, when they say, "Okay, there's nothing you can do about that disease. Just cut the tree down. There's nothing you can do about the disease or the pests. There are lots of different bugs." I tell people when the tree is food for the bug, there's something wrong.
Yes, 100%. And that's where you're same with your lettuce. If the bugs are attacking your lettuce, there's something wrong with it. It's not fit for human consumption. Grow
No,
something
because
better.
it's fit for bug consumption. And the food is fit for
Exactly.
bugs. It's not food that's good for people. It's the same thing with when I told you guys about the secret. See, one of the greatest secret I've ever found that I have discovered, and I'm hearing other people talk about it. I'm going, where did he get that information from? And more than likely he got it from me, because I've been saying this for quite a while now. But at the same time, I also realized I'm not inventing anything. I'm just saying the truth. There's bound to be other people saying the same truth too, because if it's true, to me, it's true in other places.
Exactly.
Right?
What have you been saying, Andy?
I've been saying the difference between carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, and simple carbohydrates.
Yeah.
See, that's why if it's simple carbohydrates, it's food for the bugs. The bugs cannot digest complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates is energy. Food, boom. Give me that food.
And your plant can't make those unless it's a healthy plant with the biology to make them. That's only going to be able to make the level below.
Right, and it's the biology that makes the minerals. It's the biology. It's only and I've been telling people this like forever. We cannot recreate what Mother Nature does. We can make a copy. We can try to do the best we can. But when Mother Nature made these microbes, and these microbes make this liquid, you cannot recreate that. You can try it in a lab. Let's blend a little calcium, a little iron, a little magnesium. Not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So what the microbes do, not only the microbes can give you the 96 different trace minerals.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mother Nature had it set up. I say had because it's obvious it's not happening what used to happen around the world, right? I mean, just think a million years ago, right? Just think a million years ago, how the Earth looked then.
Yeah.
We're a trillion animals, zillions of animals, right? You can look in the sky without seeing birds everywhere, right? Creatures, and that's how one of the ways Mother Nature spreads minerals around the world.
And the biology.
And of course, the biological. That's how. Yeah. It wouldn't do any good if the animal would go around pooping iron or magnesium or calcium or whatever. They would have to be in some form, and it's the biology that does that. So that it makes sense.
Well, if you look at it this way, Andy, the biology is the smaller form of animal. That bird in a microscopic pecks at the tree to break down the tree. You know, take that to the microscopic, and that's what's breaking down the sand, silt, clay, and organic material. They're exactly all living beings. We just don't think of it that way.
What you hit upon is another interesting. Okay, so you know what a fractal is?
Yep.
Okay, so what you just said was
talking about fractals. So please go ahead, talk some more.
What you just said was basically a fractal. It mirrored a smaller world. So you're talking about the microbes.
Yeah.
Picking away at the minerals. You have the birds picking away at the tree, or humans eating things, or other creatures. It does this. It's the very same thing. The way it works is that we have to eat something that ate 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 something. Infinitive, right? Oh, and that's the way. And so going back to the soil testing is really, and he's going to be on here soon. I'm going to have him on. He's going to talk about the biology. And I'm also going to have another lady on who's a doctor, and she does the biomean in your stomach. I got plants.
You got to read this. You got to read this, Andy.
Yeah, I got plants, and at the farm, healthy enough that the grasshoppers wouldn't eat them. Yeah, prove to people that it's possible, and they didn't believe it.
Yeah,
grasshoppers or like any other insect, they need the simple carbohydrates. So they're geared, and Mother Nature is very smart. Let's see now. If you're sick, you're going to produce simple carbohydrates, and they will kill you. That's an easy way to recycle a thing. We're going to make it that way.
Yeah.
When you're healthy, we're not going to
be broken down.
Right. When you're healthy, you're not going to get attacked. These things are not going to touch you when you're healthy. But when you're sick, they're going to recycle you. They're going to take you and recycle you. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And that's what they're designed to do. That's what they're literally designed to do.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happens.
Not healthy, break it down so the next generation can become healthy.
Right. So it's like a law of cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
You see. So, and what's interesting too is that we're taught. I don't know about. Well, I mean, us, the people who are on listening now, and you and I. Maybe we're taught that, but we believe something different. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching. But basically, 99% of the people out there are taught that if something's wrong, like with a plant or something, it's normal to get a chemical and spray it.
Yeah, and that's what they've been taught. They've been
the same thing with the
programmed.
human body. It's normal to shoot up with a chemical and deal with it. That's
Yeah.
normal. That's how we deal with it, right? Rather than say, okay, what's the law? What's the cause and effect? The effect is just the disease and the pest. But the effect, that's the effect, not the cause.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So if you eliminate the cause, you eliminate the effect.
And you find the root of the problem and get rid of the root, and you have no problem.
It's so much easier eliminating the cause than eliminating the effect, because the effect will keep coming back over and over again because you didn't eliminate the cause.
Okay, Andy, I have a question then. Okay, I'm crazy. So what do I have to eliminate that will stop me from being crazy?
You need to stop smoking pot.
I don't know about that, because my body would cramp and I wouldn't have a life.
I was talking to my VA psychiatrist today. I talk to her once a month, and I don't know if I mentioned it to you or not, but he was telling me that pot ruins your brain. Marijuana does something to your neurons and all this kind of stuff, and it ruins your brain.
Got to find that commander that you were with in the Navy and have them come and tell the psychiatrists that they're idiots. We used to say that real men drink beer, don't smoke weed. Yeah, it's the same mental attitude. You just got to smack the guy in the head again.
What I told this guy was, okay, first of all, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I can tell you the loopholes in the study that you're quoting.
Yeah.
It didn't break it down to, okay, these people, what do they eat? Do they drink? Are they heavy drinkers? What drugs are they taking? From the store-bought drugs to whatever else. These are things that they're doing to themselves. Mm-hmm. And you're going to find that you're going to find they don't have very much brain capacity left. So it's not the pot that's doing that. And I think also too, you need to look at who does the studies, right? Who set up the study? Who paid for the studies? Right, you follow it. You find that is the pharmaceutical people that are setting up the studies, and they would love it to tell people the pot is ruining your brain. But hey, take this drug or this drug or this drug or this.
Just give us your money, and we'll keep you healthy or healthier than with all these pills. Yeah, just keep taking these.
So I think that the people who are doing the soil testing now have come a long ways, because now they're actually looking for the microbe. They're looking for the biology. They're going to tell you what's the biology. This one company that you can put up their little. I think you already wrote it. There you go. It's called Alluvium Soil Labs. Really cool people, and they're really into the soil microbes, and they're doing a special invisible gardener soil test, which is what I want to get from my customers. I want them to, because when you do a disease, you have to look for that specific disease. See, right? So if they don't look for that disease and it has a disease, they're not going to find it. So, but if you, so instead of looking for the diseases, you look for the presence of microbes in the soil.
Life.
Which is what I want, right? I want to see the organic content. I want to see, I don't care what minerals are available, because a lot of the minerals are not in an available form.
Exactly.
The microbes has to bring it. So it's like a bank. I only want to see what's open, what I can get at. The rest of it in the bank is fine. What I mean? Because what I have to do with the customer is to say, okay, first of all, you need to resupply it. Bring everything to the soil that it needs. Since you're not doing it naturally, you're not letting Mother Nature do it for you. You're going to do it. You're going to learn to make compost. You're going to learn to make the compost in the right way, because the compost is the key way that you can incorporate all these things back into the soil. That's how you get the minerals and stuff. So when I make compost, I also I try to make a lot from a wide range of different things on the property, and then also make arrangements with other people to get other things. But basically, it's all in the same area. So when I lived in Florida and in Miami, I used to go homestead, get cow manure, rabbit manure, steer manure, chicken manure, lava manure. Elephant manure is very unique.
Lava manure? Did you say lava manure or llama? Llama. Okay, I was thinking, what the hell is lava manure? Okay,
lava manure is all you can get it in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh well, no. There's other places in the world you can get it, and I think it's probably full of trace minerals that we need.
Well, actually, it is. lot of the rocks, ancient rocks, are basically ancient lava beds. And so it takes many millions of years for them to eventually get ground up. That's one of the things. And I'm hoping to get another person on here he wrote remineralization. It has to do how the earth remineralizes itself. His name is Don Weaver.
Oh, that would be a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. It's a really, very cool. It's not a new idea. It's just make it easier for people to understand that Mother Nature normally remineralizes their stuff. That's what ice ages are. When you do an ice age, the ice age of snow grinds everything up, and then when it retreats, it has your rock dust. And Mother Nature has a way of spreading the minerals. Like, for example, when Mount St. Helena blew up, you think only that area got the minerals? No, went up into the stratosphere or whatever, went around the world, and everybody got some of it.
Yeah,
see, right?
Exactly.
And Mother Nature does that all the time. When Old Faithful, when what's in the Yellowstone goes, the whole Earth is going to get remineralized, right?
And that's only one of 6 or 9 super volcanoes on our planet.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do when they spew it up in the air. And if you test it, you're going to see it. Like, go see Mount St. Helena now.
Beautiful there, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is just growing like crazy.
Yeah.
There's somebody selling them the dust as a rock dust because it's really rich.
That's what it is. It's molten rock when it comes out. Yeah, it's rock dust. Okay, just let it dry for a while.
So I tell people the quality of the rock dust depends upon how Mother Nature makes it.
Yep. What volcano it came from?
I think I talked to you guys last time about this rock dust that I get from Southern California. It's called alluvium clay. It's a hot sulfur mud bath place. That Mother Nature is still bubbling under there. And if you go deeper, you see the molten lava, but it's so hot that it makes the clay melt, and it's like a flowing clay thing, and it goes up to the top. Obviously, it's not so hot you die, but you get into it, you soak yourself. It's really, really super hot. He sells that. That's 30% calcium. That's also why it's so good when you soak yourself in it.
Yeah.
So your body,
for some reason, we were made of calcium.
Yeah, you see that,
compounds.
Right?
Yeah.
You figured that, right? Your body soaks the calcium right in.
Yeah. What's the biggest organ on your body? Oh,
skin.
Yeah, right. My skin. Yeah.
Right. I also tell people that what's the biggest light organ on your body
Light organ?
Yeah. But your skin? Your skin.
Yeah. It absorbs light.
Receives light.
Yeah.
It can see different colors. The same thing with frequency. That's all over your body. Your skin sees that, just like your hair does. So
actually, Lily brought up something to me the other day, Andy, and I got to stop you.
A dead bird.
Speaking about the light and seeing and hearing, because you don't see and hear things like most people do. And there's actually, Lily found it's other people that see light or see music and hear light.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just wanted to say that's a thing.
Yeah, it's not the only. Yeah.
You're not the only crazy guy out there, Andy, that can do that.
Everybody has the same capabilities. Everybody has the very same capabilities. It's just it depends to the extent that you want to use them and you pay attention to them. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
But listen, the soil testing is something people really should get into, because even when you're growing the plant, you always want to take a look at what's going on in your soil. It gives you a really good indication, right? See music and hear color. Yes, silly.
Yeah. And that's what you can do. Like it must be fascinating to walk into somebody's garden and see that in a totally different way than I do. It's
part of it has to do with learning how to turn the system off, turning it on again. Because if you think about it, you can't stick your head outside. You can't go anywhere because you're going to be flooded with a variety of different colors and different sounds. You can't even walk. You couldn't really talk. You'd be like, holy shit, what the hell?
But then bees can do the same thing. They can turn the color off in their vision and run on black and white. So what you're saying is you can turn it on and turn that off. Cool.
So as a kid, I learned how to do that, partially
Mhm.
because my mom would say, "Don't run up to people and tell them, man, you got a really bad looking aura. I think you're going to die." That's a
It's not
no-no.
generally a good thing to do. Okay,
That'll be
yeah,
a
yeah.
no-no. You don't want to do that, you know. But I also learned that so when I started tripping on LSD and stuff, you have the same thing. It's like you can't. You walk around, and go, oh wow, oh wow, and if you're driving, you go, oh wow, oh wow. You know, but you can't. You have to learn how to turn it off. Otherwise, you can't
Yeah,
really function. And even when you
yeah.
turn it back on again, you have to be careful because you're being flooded constantly. You think that you're in the middle of a forest and nothing's around. No, or in the middle of the ocean or in the middle up in space.
Life
You're
is everywhere.
you're constantly being flooded with an infinite number of frequencies and colors and sound.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just like when I do the painting, it's like and I've learned to transcend the painting. You should see some of the paintings, really cool. But it transcends. It really goes through different kinds of phases. And one of the things I like about this, it's called liquid art, is that you can actually pull colors out. You can blend. I'm learning how to do layers, right? But I basically imitate how I see things.
Cool. And that's why I find them so fascinating. And you guys can find them on Andy's YouTube channel. Just scroll down in the playlist and
Copper spaceship.
yeah, Cosmic Spaceship. Uh, Absolutely phenomenal, guys. You got to go check it out and sign up with Andy's channel. Give him some watch hours. He needs that. We want to get him monetized.
Yeah.
So,
And the
yeah,
cosmic spaceship I've been doing for a long time. See, when
yeah.
I've been doing this radio show thing for a long time. I started doing my a brick and mortar radio show on FM stations. I was on KPFK for 15 years, KCRW for a long time, uh, uh, FM stations in in Santa Barbara. You know, so I've been
Okay.
doing this. And so what I did was, it's only about 6, maybe 10 years ago, I started doing the music thing. And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened the same thing with the artwork, I just started doing both at the pretty much at the same time because I was bored and I did a little bit too much LSD and mushrooms at the same time. And I decided, oh, okay, this. So I bought this program. There's this music program called Acid. So if you're doing Acid and you're watching, you're scrolling through the internet, you see a program called Acid, you go, whoa, okay, I'm going to do that. Literally, because Acid uses a paintbrush. You can tell instruments what to do. You have instruments. You have songs that are called loops. That's what they are, loops. A lot of musicians now, they've learned, not now, but a long time ago, how do you make a living? You sell loops from some things that you make. So if you have a
Mhm.
song, it could be a 30-second loop or a 3-minute. You sell
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I would buy it, and it gives me the right to put it and mix it with my song. So I have
yeah.
copyright to that. So, but you use a paintbrush. And you can use
Mhm.
color. Use actually color because each color, the computer understands what a sound color works with. You know,
Okay.
it's a normal relationship between sound and color. A
Yeah,
computer I would say, give me the color for this sound, and I would have a sound that would play like a bell chime or whatever.
yeah,
And it would say, this is it. Show me the color. You know, and
yeah.
I have a program that's basically like a fractal. It tells the computer, produce this fractal based upon this sound
Okay.
and color that you hear. It's really cool. It comes out like that. Very, very trippy. And but the problem is when I do it with a real paint and stuff, it doesn't. I'm not a computer. I don't have the ability to do that. But I do tend to. I think it works itself out because the more when I do it, the colors are very, very fascinating, and I hear, and it's a beautiful sound that it makes.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, again, I can't duplicate that sound on the computer, right? It'd be really cool if I could just, take a picture of it or a video of it, and the computer would produce a song of it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't happen that way. But I go off the subject a lot, and I apologize, guys. 'Cause I can talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stick to the soil testing, because if you get in the habit of doing your soil testing on a regular basis, especially if you want to make sure, and you see, normally you don't need it. If your marijuana plants, if your trees are beautiful and they have all the minerals, so the marijuana plant will have a greater THC concentration and better taste, right? Same thing with your food. You'll find that once you get the right food to them, they're absolutely amazing. It's only when they're weak that they don't taste right, you know. And also you have to learn how to grow them like a fruit tree, you know, fruit. You have to be able to pick it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how. That's one of the things that I like about refractometer, because it gives you an instant. You can't send the soil test off and come back and then pick it. You want something that day to see whether you should pick it. So I combined. I use a refractometer to tell me right away if it's time to pick.
Right.
Normally,
well, yeah, if it's in that right range, then then it's healthy and good.
Normally, you and I don't need to worry about a refractometer telling me when to pick, because you would nibble on it, you will look at it, you go, "This is the time to eat."
Yeah, it's at the right consistency. It feels right, and you
But
smell it.
If you do it often enough, you understand what the trace minerals are, and it's also very good to look at the lab.
Yeah.
And one of the things about lab tests that people don't pay attention to, besides the biology, they do not pay attention to biology. They just want to know other things.
Yeah.
What minerals do I have? What do I need? And a lot of times it doesn't work that way in terms of the plants getting minerals from the soil right there. The minerals normally got brought in. The minerals, Mother Nature brings the minerals and makes them available. And when your soil is depletion, it's not going to have it. You need to constantly be bringing in the minerals. And you don't really want to be dumping in this chemical or that chemical, or you want to bring in the microbes, which is the main thing that people need to be constantly bringing in to their property. And you want to build up an environment. So one of the cool things about a lab test is that minerals thrive within a certain pH. You know what that is? What?
pH?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have a neutral of 7, and you can go higher. But Happy History, and we never got you on with Luna and that, but Happy History wants you to talk more on sexing seeds by looking at it. But see, you don't see the world the way most people see it. So,
well, this is actually
that part of it.
There are a bunch of different ways to tell the sex. Now, if you look at a Mary Jane seed, and hell, I can't tell them too late. It seems you screw with looking at the seed, right?
Yeah, I get males in my grow in late season. How the hell did that happen?
Too late. So I've learned there are many things that determine whether a plant becomes a male and a female, and a lot of times it has to do with a combination of those things. For example, if the soil is too cold, when you sprout, they will turn male. When the environment is not right for them, like they're not getting enough light, they will turn male on you. So those are other things that cause them to turn male. I've seen them turn hermaphrodite, both. Usually when they're male, it means the heck with this. We're going to start producing. We're going to go the other way. Because we're all going to die, so might as well get some seeds out of everything, right? But in terms of looking at the seed, you just have to visualize. I call it a pimple, because the seeds are kind of like heart shaped a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Right, a little bit of the slightly heart shaped, and the top is indented in, and the bottom has a little nipple on it, right?
Yeah.
Well, usually what happens is that the top, instead of being indented in, it has a little pimple on it, and those are usually males. Usually, because you can also take that same plant and really put it under 24/7 under LED lights. It's nice and warm. I put on a heat pad, 70 degrees. That's what the soil should be, 70 degrees. And then I also learned that the biology in the pot makes a big difference, because if you have these plants trying to go in an environment that's not very conducive, they're not going to do very well. So one of the things, that's why I invented my super seaweed, and that's why I like one of the best things to give your plant is like a worm juice mixture to increase the biology in the soil. So when you stick the seed in to grow in there, they have this really nice warm environment. They have the right soil, and they're not too dry. And they 90% of the time they will come out female.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be for me. I always look for the males, because that's one way I learned how to determine male. Because I want a male, because I want to pollinate with that male. People grow it to smoke, but I grow it because I want to research the genetics of it and come up with some really cool varieties. which I have been working on because I want male. Right now, I have I have some pollen which I think is probably done for, even though I've taken care of it. It could last a long time, so I'm hoping it still be good. I got plenty of seeds, but I'm hoping the seeds are also can last because you can only theoretically keep them for so long. You can't keep them forever, even though they're in a nice environment. They should last a while. I mean, they found Thomas Jefferson seeds, and they were good, so that was a while back. So if you do keep them in the right environment, but
a while, Thomas Jefferson. They've actually, isn't it in Egypt? They found seeds that in tombs and stuff that they could plant and they would grow. They're totally viable.
Right. So it comes down to
storage.
Right. It comes down to the storage and how you.
Yeah.
That's why in that place in Iceland it's in like freezing. So they keep it at a certain really cold temperature.
In the salt caves. Yeah.
Right.
No,
so,
it sounded to me, Andy, actually like if you can eliminate 99.9% of any stress, then the seed is generally going to be female. In any type of stress, you have a much higher potential of a plant being male. That's
exactly it. Right. So the stress can come by from usually especially when you're growing really exotic plants. Like I like to grow Thai, and that's my whole thing, Thai. And so I'm really into Thai, but I'm also into sativa, whether it be Maui Lau, Jamaican, Panama Red is one of my favorite ones too. I have some of those, and these are like my concern there is that they go really way back because the last time I used these seeds was probably 2010, something like that. So that's like 13 years already. And even those I didn't use all of them. I only used a few of them. The rest of them I still have there. I still have tons of variety of the lamb's breath. And I don't even want to open and expose them to light, right? I just want to keep them really dark in a nice place.
Yeah.
And as long as they don't, they're in the cardboard, they're in a nice breathable environment, so it doesn't get moldy or nothing in there. But I think that these varieties, these tropical varieties, really require the soil to be 70 degrees, just like growing peppers. And what's cool too is that if you're indoors and it's 60 degrees outdoors, they're not going to grow. If you have 70 degrees soil indoors and you have 60 degrees soil outdoors, they're not going to do it. They can sense the 60-degree outdoor temperature. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right. So that's another issue too, because you had a friend that was growing up in northern where the climate was really cold.
Yeah.
Right. And so he had to go through certain varieties that would only be adaptable to there.
Ron Harrington that we had on the other day, his middle the California stuff is not going to survive in Canada that way. Just it's not built for here. He would have to genetically change it, and that takes time and dedication to change it so it can be here.
Wasn't he growing an Afghan variety, right?
Yeah, and he couldn't grow it in northern Alberta. Like I just actually drove by his house when I went to Vancouver and came back from Vancouver, and it's Alberta. You just can't do it. It would take probably 10 or 15 runs just to start building some strength.
If it was me there and I really needed to do it, I would grow a variety, grow it indoors, keep it as healthy as I can, let it go through the whole cycle indoors, produce and have some seeds, do it again, and each time expose it a little bit more and more to the temperature outside. So every time they would get a little bit of that, and eventually you can have
outside's minus 40, Andy. Outside's minus 40, buddy. Remember, you don't even get close up to northern temperatures than Colorado.
It's all indoors, right? It's all indoors.
Yeah.
So
then we don't have to expose it to outside.
No, then you don't. So if you're just growing indoors, you should have to eventually get the right variety to grow under the environments you have there. Growing.
Yeah.
That would be the key to it. Just keep growing, and keep getting seeds. Start the same one over again. Pick the best ones.
It's adjusting to your terroir.
Right. Pick the best ones that do it there. Do it again. Pick the best ones that do it there. Then it's going to take quite a while for the genetics to modify stuff for that environment. And that's exactly what will happen. And that's exactly what will happen. The genetics will modify stuff for that environment. You guys have any questions? Because I'm here answering your questions.
Well, I have a
You have a
question.
question. It doesn't count.
Explain to us who these people are and how or what type of a microbial test are they going to, like, say I sent a soil sample in. What's the results I'm going to get? I'm going to get the normal numbers of my soil needs: magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, whatever. But I'm also getting the biological counts. What am I expecting out of this test, Andy?
I think you should ask them, because I am not, the one to tell you all the different kinds of things that they can do. I'm not really that much into the describing all the different type of biologies that they look for. That's one reason why we want them on there, so they can give you more details as to what it is that they're going to be pulling up.
Okay.
I basically am happy that they will do that, along with a bunch of other basic soil tests that I want. But once they start, once you get into the microbes, you too will say, well, I don't really care specifically what each name is, but
Yes, exactly.
I do want it to be alive with and you get to, and once you start playing with different types of microbes or different sources of microbes, one of the things I wanted to find out is to let people test some of these other sources that I buy, see if there's any good. Because for me, I've gone through the gambit. I've used something, I don't like it, use something else. Oh, I like that one, then keep using that one. And so the sinks I use are fairly good, but I also do a lot of live microbes that I know because I grow them myself. And I also,
because you're doing a lot of composting, etc., and you make your own product, which people can see on your website. But for a basic biology, it's the more life they see, the better. And once you start to see some of the higher life forms, like the ciliates, and nematodes, etc., your soil's getting to a level where it's going to be able to get health in the first place. And that's all people really need to understand is, you don't need the names. Like even Elaine Ingham, says it, like they know 95% of nothing. They don't even know the 5% exactly what it does, only a very small percentage of that. So it's a matter of having that life there. And that's what you want to show the people in their analytics from this new lab that you're working with.
you don't want to you want to have so many type of microbes in there you cannot count them. That's what
exactly.
That's what
you want to put it under a slide and go, wow, look at that, man.
That's what you want. The more, the better, because the more of the microbial activities in the soil, the less it's going to be of any activity of any one particular disease. See, these things will counter out. So the more of the good guys there are, the less of the bad guys there are.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And so when you start seeing, looking around, you don't see microbial activity, you know there's something else. You have to figure what is going on here. And a lot of times that's why, for example, I'm going to be talking about this whole property water filter, because the city water kills the biology. It's a constant attack on the soil. Every time the water goes on, the biology has to put on the suit and mask and everything to survive.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it's a constant thing. It's not bad enough that humans are dumping chemicals on it, fertilizer this, pesticide that, urea, all the different things. Every time the water comes on, it sterilizes the soil. It kills the bacteria.
I know, isn't it ridiculous that they do that to all city water, and it's the tap water? They're sterilizing your biology in your body every time you drink tap water.
And you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing.
Exactly. It's
biology,
like, right. And these rich people, that if you tell them, that this water is better for them than this one, then they'll buy that water, but yet they won't buy the life that's in the soil to make it healthy. But they want to sure make themselves healthy. I think maybe you got to tell them that they got to go to boot camp to understand this stuff, and we'll start sending them, to people that understand it, and have them do intense training for a month. Go, okay, this is what you got to do to be healthy.
So this lab, this water filter company, this really cool water filter company, I want to get him on as a guest also, because it's important in water. But when I was talking to him, Studio 57. I'm not sure what that means. Was that a movie, Studio 57?
Yeah, and the amount of people you want it just full going crazy.
The aliens, all the aliens in it, right? So I was talking to the guy, and he says, "Well, wait a minute, you want a whole house filter for the garden? No, you're mistaken. It's for the house." And I says, no. I want it for the garden. I don't want it for the house. He says, "You're the first person I've ever heard of coming here and says, I want a filter for the garden. What are you talking about?" I says, "Well, you think about it, Why do you want a filter for the house?" "Well, it's good for your skin. And, you don't want to be bathing and you can drink the water." And I said, "Well, it's good water, right? Well, what's wrong with giving that to the property, to your soil?
To your plants, to your biology,
you hear the
to
silence,
life.
You hear the silence, I don't know, maybe, but really, so the water, so it filters out, because this guy had built a nice garden, a raised bed, really wonderful, but he has all kinds of problems. A lot of it is salt burns. A lot of it's salt burns, and it's the salt that's in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of different salts in the water, the city water. A lot of them I think they say it's heavy minerals.
And you do live in Malibu, so you do get a breeze from the ocean with salt in the air once in a while too, I think, in California.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just the plants that can't survive there don't last very long along the coast. But the constant addition of water, which has a salt, which is different kinds of chemicals in it, which are natural salts, and on top of that, the fertilizers are all salts.
Yeah.
Are constantly killing the biology, and that's why you have a major problem in the health of the plants that you have growing on people's property. Diseases and pests all have to do with the trace mineral inefficiency, which basically has to do with the minerals. The microbes are not giving you the trace minerals you need.
They're not breaking down all that salt into the components that are inside of the salt to feed back to the plant.
Well, I thought about that too. But I think they can only break down so much.
It's like you'd have to call in the Navy, the Air Force, the National Guard, and that's what we're trying to do, is add more biology in to be that workforce to break all that down. But don't keep adding it, because it's so far out of balance. It's going to take a while for Mother Nature to get back.
Right. Even if you I've learned from experience that if you bring a lot of biology into a bad environment, 90% of the biology will die. The 10% will survive in little pockets and niches, and those are the ones that you want to encourage. So next time you come back, you spray again. Maybe 80% will die. Another 20% will survive. And so as the organics of the soil gets more conducive to the biology, you're going to get more and more biology living there.
I see how that works.
And that takes a long time to naturally occur. It's not
to do it naturally through nature. Yeah,
it's not an overnight thing. It's not a 30-day thing. Sometimes it could take years for the soil to recompose itself again. Years, literally. And a lot of people are into let's heal it now.
I like our audience because we're preaching to the choir and we're slowly getting more people, which is fantastic. But they understand exactly what we're talking about, Andy. And I want you to answer Diggity's question here if you have a thought on this. My well water went from 7.5 last year to 9 this year. What should I add to the garden? Oyster shell?
No. You want to lower the pH down. If you have a pH of 9, I don't see how you can possibly. Is that the pH of your soil or the pH of your water? Right, it's the pH of your water, right? And that's going to be affecting your soil because it goes out through your sprinkler and you're watering all the time, right? Yes, so it's not your head. Yes, right. And so, what I would do is learn to apply something that naturally acidifies the soil. And what comes to mind right off the bat is coffee.
Okay.
Coffee is a natural acidic. It's a natural acidic. So if you can either, ideally you want to get organic source of coffee, because that's good because it'll have more trace minerals in it. So you don't want to go to these local places that their coffee is chemically grown, more toxins, more pesticides. That's not going to work. It's actually going to kill your earthworms. So you want to go, hopefully, to the place that you have an organic coffee place that makes organic coffee for people who are drinking. You know what I mean? or like a coffee shop that has a good source of organic coffees. And I would use two things. I would use the coffee grinds, add it to the soil, turn it, don't sit it on top, but turn it into the soil. You can also learn how to add it to your compost. You're making compost, you want to add that. And you also want to learn how to make a liquid out of it. So you can do, there's a couple of ways you can use the liquid, because when you have all this coffee grinds, you can make a tea bag out of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can do like a 55-gallon drum of clean distilled water, put in about a pound of coffee grinds tie it into a tea bag, into a ball, let it sit in the into the liquid, maybe with a sticker across, let it sit in the middle, squeeze it all up until you get this coffee, and you'll find that one little bag will make like maybe 10 times that. In other words, you can fill that 55-gallon tub with water 10 times, and you'll still get it dark. And that's what I would do. And that's what I would
use ladies' nylons, because I know that's what I use for the tea bag.
I used to go to the store and buy the legs, the panties.
Yeah.
When I give my radio show, we talk about it in the mail. I say, you ladies, feel free to send me your panties. I'm happy to. And my wife,
I bet you got some, you rotten bugger. You're no
my
pirate.
wife would say, dear, you got some more panties in. And she says, do you wear these? Are these for you to wear, or or is it something you want to tell me? And I go, well, and no. So yeah, it makes a great filter. And nylons are getting hard to find. That's true. They're all made of some really junk stuff, but it makes a great filter. I've learned to use anything for a filter, but give that to your property on a regular basis. Here's what I would do. It's even uniquer. So I would buy a fertigation unit. It's called fertigation.
Okay.
F-E-R.
Oh yeah, that's like doing math online. I'm not gonna try to spell.
G-A-T-I-O-N. Fertigation.
Now, Lily, if Lily was here, she just rattle it off, because that's what she does.
You can write, can't you, Ken? Fertigation.
She can type it into the chat. I can bring it up. Fertigation.
Yeah.
I can pronounce it. That's good enough.
I think I'm doing I did it again too. I can't really. It says connect to comment. I have to go to YouTube and connect. Oh my God! See, I don't know.
No. Just Lily, type in fertigation already. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only a delay, so
that's why I can't. That's why I can't do. I really have to do it's Fertigation. Fertigation unit, right? It's called a fertigation unit.
Hey, there you go. There's the spelling of it. Is that spelled right?
And the one you should get is called Easy Flow. There are all good ones on the market, but I like this particular one because it's been around a long time, and it's really easy to use, and it's easier to use. See, normally meant for fertilizers to go in there, right? But if you can put, for example, coffee in there, it won't clog it up, right? The coffee will go through on a regular basis. You just have to change. What I would do, I probably wouldn't do the tea bag in there because the fertigation unit's got a little tiny valve. It's just any little bit of coffee get in there, which will happen. It'll clog it up. So you want to you want to make your tea, run it through a filter, run it through another filter again, another screen to get it nice and clean. Pour that into your fertigation unit, and I would turn it on and let it go. It'll siphon everything out of the fertigation right into your drip system, into your water.
Yeah,
I would do that, say, once a week. Open it up, dump, because what happens is it pumps water in and pumps the coffee out. So the next thing you know, it's nothing but water in there, right? So I would just open it up. Dump all the liquid out, fill up with new coffee in there, and do it again. And so that's a really, really super easy way to acidify your soil, and you add the minerals to it. And if you're like me, you can actually learn how to put your microbes in there in a liquid form, because you want it to be nice and clean. You don't want any particles. You just want the little guys in there. It'll go right straight through the unit and water your plants that way. Because if you provide enough microbes at the same time, you have anywhere near, because the pH should be 6.5 to 6.8 on either side. That's where it's a range, maybe 2 points on either side. So it's like 6.5, you have maybe 5.6, 5.8. It's maybe 6, and on the other side you have 7.1, not even 7, not even near 7.2. That's the range of these microbes. Other microbes live in another range, but that particular microbes that I really like, the ones that are very specifically genetically grown, that this is what they do with their whole life. That they take a hit of carbon and they burp out carbon dioxide, get the carbonic acid, and they love to chew on stuff. I mean, I noticed that a lot of plants, when they grow, they wrap their roots around different kinds of rocks.
Yeah.
And you know what they're doing. They're
mining the biology is mining the rock, and it's the factory is right there to feed the biology that's creating the cells in the plant.
That also reminds me of one more thing that you should add. Yeah, take short stand watering and pH of water on you. Something was off when plants. Yeah, so you want to get reduce the pH down. The fertigation unit will really help you a lot. You can use that in a lot of fertigation unit in a lot of different ways. I'm more than happy to go over that down the road some more, because if you learn how to add biology along with, that's why I like my super seaweed, because if you add any biology to it in my super seaweed, it increases the biology. Look, I take a gallon of my worm juice, 99 gallons of distilled water, not distilled, it's filtered. I have a garden filter that I use, and I'm happy to tell you what kind of garden filters are available out there in the market now. But I filter the water out. I have a bubbler, put a gallon of my microbes in there. I put maybe not even a pint of my super seaweed blend in there and aerate it. Within 15 minutes, you could not tell the difference in the water. If you had used a microscope with the original gallon, and you look at it again under 100 gallons, you would say it's the same thing. It's the same identical thing. The microbes just fill in right. And you can actually overdo it, because I've forgotten once, and I left it running for an hour, and man, it was stinking. What was that? I wanted to add garlic to it, or something like that to it to mellow it down a little bit, because it will increase. And if you leave it 2 hours or even overnight, I've done it overnight specifically I knew that I was dealing with a very hard disease that didn't want to go away, so I would make it the biology really, really strong and attack them that way, because it goes into the skin of the plant, and it actually affects the disease enough to where it would knock it out. It wouldn't kill the disease, because disease is soil. It's in the soil. All diseases are in the soil. But so the fertigation unit is a really simple, easy tool to use, and you can use it to modify the water that you're pumping out on your property. So I would also get a garden filter for the hose. And there's one called Boogie Board, Blue Boogie, which I really like. I like Blue Boogie and Garden Grow. They're both really, really cool. Mention my name, I get 50% off. No, I have to do that. I really should do something like that. But
well, you should be doing the affiliate marketing, Andy. We were talking about this on your website. You should have the products that you use and have people link and go buy your code.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm doing a online series for workshops, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
The whole health, my soil health series, I'm up to. I just finished doing the water. So the next show is going to be on carbon. We're talking about carbon. And so one of the things I was going to mention today anyway, Boogie Blue. It's called Blue Boogie Brew. John,
Blue Boogie, not Boogie Brew. No, remember, guys, Andy's not specifically talking about cannabis here. He's talking about your yard, your plants, your trees, not specifically on cannabis. So a lot of the names are not going to be similar to what people are using for their cannabis growth.
It's not Boogie Brew, is Boogie Blue, BLUE.
Okay, there you go.
It may even be Blue Boogie. It's Boogie Blue. Maybe it's Boogie Blue Brew. Anyway, you look it up. It's a really cool filter that you want to start learning to use to filter out the city water that you're using if you really want to get anywhere, especially if you're doing container plants. If they have this water coming in all the time.
And remember, it's good for you to drink that too, and stop drinking city water. Yeah.
Yeah, they sell water filters, right? Yeah, it could be Boogie Brew filter, right? Yeah, because they do water filter. And
there you go.
You're right, John, and that's what you want. You really want to control. And we have to go now. I think I heard the bell ring.
I don't know. Did I hear a gong in the background?
Put up my website. Put my website up, going to. And normally
Okay,
you put a music on the way out, unless you're going away again. Now, are you leaving again somewhere to go somewhere? That's not mine.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
my God.
That's the lab that you're starting to work with to get this
Oh my
biological
God.
test. Are
Okay.
you going to have a discount code for this soon, Andy? You need to
Yeah,
set that up.
I have to talk them into it. Sometimes they don't do that. They say no, and I say,
Yeah.
okay, fine. My whole goal is to help you people out there really have an amazing, amazing garden, right?
Yeah.
And it's so simple, it's so easy. And it's like cooking. I have a friend that makes amazing food. I watch her. She said, do this, and I don't do it. It's like, so it may be simple for the person doing it, like it's simple for me. And I try to make it simple for you guys too, make it easier for you guys to grow. You guys are way ahead of the crowd already. So,
Oh, yeah.
good
Yeah.
for you guys. Exactly. Good for you guys. I hope there's some doctors in there that's going to say, hey, I like this. Actually, there's a doctor who became a gardener to understand how the body works and went back took the knowledge to being a doctor. I'm going to see if I can get him on. His name is Arden Anderson. Really, really cool doctor. So he'll be a great person to talk about biology. He doesn't smoke pot, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It could be something.
Well, no,
really cool.
This channel isn't just about people that smoke pot or do mushrooms. This is like, it's all about the biology. It's all about caring, sharing, community. It's all about, no matter what you're growing, whether it's plants yourself or animals, it's an all-inclusive channel for anybody that has a mind that's trying to help people to become better.
If you guys want to buy the super seaweed and you're out of the country, all we have to do is figure out how much it will cost to ship it to where you're at. That's it. I go to the post office. You give me an email, say this is where I'm at, and Boogie Blue, right? And I will be more than happy to get in touch with you and let you know how much the shipping will cost. I have no problem with doing that at all.
And where's the best place to get a hold of you, Andy, to use your website, contact information?
Go to my website. There's an inquiry form. Is the easiest way to do it. If you send me email, it's not going to work. The other day it was 40,000 emails in my mailbox, and I said, "What the hey?" And it's like 80%. You want to have a larger penis kind of thing, and it's like, what? I don't.
You got spammed. You got spammed.
Seriously. So it's like, what the heck? So I got on this list. I don't know. It's kind of
so how about getting a hold of you by direct message on Instagram? Would that be a better place?
Instagram will work just like it'll work. I do get messages from Instagram, right? I also get messages from all the other different social things. I'm not on TikTok anymore. I quit.
Okay. Yeah, I
Down Under is good, man. I want to visit
there.
there. I want to go down there Down Under. I really love you guys. Have always been so far ahead of the world is ridiculous, right? You know what I mean? So, okay, guys. I think
I'm just gonna let people know that Kimmy from oh my god, I can't remember, Jackalope Farms, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Is coming on tomorrow on the Sun and the Moon. And then we got John, Tony, and I back on Monday. And Monday afternoon, we've got Ben from Acadia Farms on with Leighton. And I think Av should be back on the 15th. So he might be on next Monday's show. And other than that, that's it. Andy, say good night, brother, and I'll end the broadcast.
Good night, brothers and sisters.
Everybody.